This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide, toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, Facebook, Skype, you name it, one simple address, X-Zone Radio TV, and our website, www.xzonetv.com. X-Zone Nation, this hour I have a lady who's going to be talking to us about a book she wrote entitled To Be Goddess, Every Woman is a Goddess. Tia Johnson is our special guest, and like many other women, Tia Johnson of Philadelphia has a full-time job and aspires to further educate herself at the University of Pennsylvania. Yet, one night she had a dream in which her grandmother visited her with a message from Spirit. Now that led Tia to connect with her inner goddess and spirit energy and ultimately write her book, To Be Goddess, Every Woman is a Goddess, to teach others about universal divine goddess energy and how to use it for one's good. And this is a quote from Tia: "The universal divine goddess is in every woman. I want to give women an understanding of how to connect with their own inner goddess and how embracing their divine energy can light up the way for them." Joining me now is Tia Johnson. And Tia, welcome to the X-Zone.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
Tia, tell us a little bit about yourself and that dream that you had that was so centered to this entire conversation and the inspiration for your book.
Oh, yes. Well, as you said, I'm in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
All my life, I've been dealing with seeing visions, whether it's in dreams or actually with my eyes, having what I like to call knowings before I actually found out it was called being claircognizant. So even as a kid, I was very spiritually involved. I just didn't know what it was called at the time. So leading up to this dream, which I had in my early 20s, it really just catapulted the creation of the book. The dream took place after the death of my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, I felt as if there was some kind of ritual waiting for me, some kind of rite of passage to say, okay, Tia, here are the family secrets. This is the spiritual aspect of the family. So that's what that dream became. So the dream was actually me in the amphitheater with my grandmother, and she just told me Spirit has something to show you. And in the night sky, a serpentine, or the stars came down in serpentine shape, and then they took the form of 3 moons, 2 full and 1 crescent. Next thing I know, I'm on stage, and people are throwing roses at me and clapping. That was my rite of passage into the spirituality. I knew that I had to analyze that dream and dig deeper.
So you've been involved in spirit and had dealings with spirit all your life.
Yes, that's correct.
Why do you think you were chosen?
I believe I was chosen because I just believed. I didn't question much until I got older. For example, I had one event where I saw a figure stand next to me in a green cloak holding a rosary, what I found out to be later. And I just accepted as something that was, or someone who was just looking over me. So having that aspect of accepting and eventually going to understand what I saw, that in itself made me believe that this is why I'm chosen to do what I do.
And how long have you been doing this professionally?
For 4 years now.
Has it enriched your life?
Oh, yes, tremendously. Actually, the creation of the Violet Sanctuary Spa was to help people heal from grief.
Mm-hmm.
But the business actually ended up taking a form of its own. A lot of people had questions about dreams and angels, and they were from outside of the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. So that was really enriching in itself. And over time, I grew. I was able to understand more of who I am, what I'm meant to do,
Mm-hmm.
how I can help others. And that was just very beautiful.
Wow. Sounds like a great story. I'm looking forward to sharing this story with you over the next hour. Thanks very much for joining us, Tia. And congratulations on your book, Exo Nation. Tia Johnson is our special guest, and her website is violetsanctuaryspa.com. And Tia and I will be back on the other side of this short 2-minute break as the X Zone continues with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. The X Zone, a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard, Monday through Friday from 10 p.m. Eastern until 2 a.m. Eastern, right around the world on the X Zone Broadcast Network and our growing family of broadcast affiliates worldwide. Tia Johnson's my guest this hour. We'll be back on the other side of this 2-minute break. Don't go away. Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Named one of the world's greatest psychics, Elizabeth Joyce is now giving readings worldwide via Skype. Elizabeth Joyce is recognized for her clairvoyant ability to help find missing persons, her analysis of dreams, past life regression work, mediumship, and her accurate predictions. Elizabeth has been a frequent guest on the X Zone radio show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, now for several years. For an appointment with Elizabeth Joyce, call 201-934-8986 or Skype at elizabeth.joyce. And for more information, you can always visit Elizabeth Joyce online at www.new-visions.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Nation, Tia Johnson is my special guest this hour, and we're talking to Tia about her book entitled To Be Godness. Every woman is a godness, a good goddess. Did I say godness? Goddess. It's one of those days. Brain wants to do one thing, mouth wants to do something totally different. Let's try this again. To be goddess. Every woman is a goddess. And Tia Johnson's my special guest. www.violetsanctuaryspa.com. Tia, tell me about your book and some of the messages and some of the information that you share with women.
Yes, my book, I created to be as if it was a conversation between old friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk a little bit about that in the introduction. Imagine we're sitting in your kitchen drinking a cup of cinnamon tea and we're talking about life.
Yeah.
So my book, I designed it so that way it's in 3 parts. So part 1 really talks about the spiritual aspect of the goddess, what it means to be goddess, civilization aspect of the goddess energy, and I introduced the reader to the 13 goddesses that I have worked with in the past. Part 2 deals with the reader and how all those concepts can be applied that I addressed in Part 1 and also what I addressed in Part 2. And that deals with celebrating your birthday, rediscovering who you are, knocking down barriers, all that greatness. And Part 3 deals with after you read the book. So it's great when you read a book, but what happens afterwards? And that's exactly what I address in Part 3.
Can your book be applied to us guys?
It sure can, and I love that you asked that question. Several guys have read the book, and what they have told me is that they were able to apply, especially in Part 2, because that really focuses on the reader, the concepts in Part 2. They were also able to identify with some of the goddesses because, for example, the goddess I referenced in the book, Isis, Egyptian goddess, she helps people with maintaining balance in their life. So the guys who have read the book reference goddess Isis. Oh, I was able to reference Isis. I related to her, and so forth. So yes, men, you can definitely benefit from reading To Be Goddess.
You said there are 13 goddesses. Who are they?
Yes, they are goddesses from various cultures. So, for example, I mentioned goddess Isis,
yeah.
Egyptian goddess. There is goddess Bridget. She is a Celtic goddess. Freya, she is a Norse goddess. And Kuan Yin, she's a Chinese goddess of compassion. Actually, I should go back to Isis. She is, again, she helps with balancing. Freya helps with a love aspect. Goddess Bridget helps us with our trailblazing abilities, Celtic goddess. Goddess Athena is the Greek goddess of wisdom. Goddess Dana, she's an Irish goddess that helps us with our manifestation, the ability to attract what we need and want in our life. Goddess Kali is a Hindu goddess of cycles, so she helps us with life, death, rebirth. Goddess Lilith, she's a Sumerian goddess, and she helps us to stand our ground, own our strengths. Goddess Cerderin, she's a Welsh goddess, and she helps us with divine inspiration. So basically to help us maintain what we aspire to do. Goddess Lakshmi is a Hindu goddess of abundance, so she helps us attract that abundance aspect in their lives. Goddess Aphrodite is the goddess of beauty. Goddess, and she's Greek goddess. Goddess Pele is a Hawaiian goddess of transformation. And so with her, we can work towards who we would like to be. So eventually we had to transform. And finally, Goddess Ishil is a Mayan moon goddess, and she helps us with healing.
It seems that you have basically a goddess from each culture.
Just about, yes.
Yeah. So how would someone ask a goddess for their help?
Oh, there are many ways. One can just go outside, take a deep breath, and if one doesn't know exactly which goddess to contact at the moment, a person can say, Goddess, I need your help with fill in the blank, with my relationship with my mother. I need help with money. I need help with whatever the scenario may be. Take a deep breath, go outside in nature, or a person can close their eyes, take a deep breath. That can help them remain centered and ask the question. So it's really just about taking a deep breath, gathering yourself together, and asking the question.
How did these people or these entities become gods?
Civilization allows people to adapt what they see as a goddess or a god. For example, let's take the rain. It's an element of water, and when people get together, they would pray for rain or maybe pray to stop the rain, and they may, through prayer or meditation, receive a sign or symbol. And a sign or symbol could be that goddess, and then that's how they start to relate an aspect to rain or to fire or to air. That's one way an entity, a divine being, can become a goddess.
How does asking a goddess to help you in your daily life when you need a boost or you need help with a problem, how does that conflict, if it does, with organized religion, where, for example, Christianity has one God, and in the Ten Commandments it says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. So can you have both sides of the coin, or does it have to be that you believe in the goddess or you believe in the deity of the religion of your choice?
It would have to be a person's preference. I have friends who follow Christianity, and they do ask me, oh, how can you work with multiple goddesses? I'm trying to please one God.
Yeah.
I would go crazy. So what I would say to that is, one, you have to really ask yourself what works for you. And if that's the case, that you like to follow that particular religion where there is one God, then that's okay. I haven't come across a person who follows goddesses and then the one God. It is possible, but what I do say to people is to really do the research and see what works for you. A lot of the goddesses predate a lot of the modern religions. It's really from ancient civilizations. So, yeah, again, I would just say do the research to really see what works for you, because a person will really find a lot of correlations between the old religion and the more modern day religion, and we see that it's not so much of a difference. There are some distinct differences, but not that much.
All right. What are some of the distinct differences?
Well, some of the distinct differences would be the way people acknowledge the holidays. For example, the summer solstice is coming up, and people who follow the goddesses will go outside and have a ritual, and that can involve fire. So it may be a fire pit. They may dance around the fire. Whereas if you're a Christian, it's just the first day of summer. You're not going outside dancing around a fire. So celebration, that's definitely a distinct difference. The energy, with the God, it's really a male energy there. With the goddesses, it's predominantly a female energy. The male energy gives and the female energy receives. So when you're working with the goddesses, you're really focusing on receiving things. And with Christianity, you focus on giving. Another distinct difference would be the way people gather. And so, again, you're in a building for the most part. With goddesses, you're outside.
It almost sounds as if what we're talking about here is Wicca.
Yeah, there are some aspects of Wicca, yes.
Now, what is the difference between Wicca and witchcraft?
With Wicca, you're dealing with the elements, mainly old religion, which with witchcraft, you're focusing on taking, say, herbs or crystals, and you're involving that into your work to change your environment.
Change your environment. So would one be personal and the other is more generic and more to help the masses instead of the one?
Yeah, that is one way of looking at it. So if one is focusing on witchcraft, a person could be a solitary witch, so they're doing their own practice alone, and they may work a spell to attract money in their life or attract the house of their dreams. With Wicca, you're more involved with the whole. There are some witches who work within a coven and larger covens, not just their area coven. But from what I noticed, if you're practicing witchcraft, it's more, as you were saying, on a personal level. And then with the Wicca, it's more of a group connection.
Is it possible that if someone who wasn't well trained or well versed into the practicing or the requesting of the goddess for assistance, any one of the 13, is there any way that they could actually bring harm onto themselves?
No. When they have good intentions, it would be as if you're going to a teacher and you have an idea of the question you want to ask. You have a difficult math problem and you don't quite get where you went wrong, so you go to your teacher and you ask, teacher, I was trying to do this math problem. I'm not sure where I went wrong. Well, it's sort of like that. If you have the good intention with a question of a problem, whatever the case may be, there isn't going to be a backlash because you're attracting that positive energy you want. Help and assistance.
Gotcha. All right, Tia, stand by, dear. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exo Nation, Tia Johnson is my special guest. And her website is, I just had it here a second ago. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. ViolentSanctuarySpa.com. And we'll ask Tia to tell us about her spa when we come back from this commercial break with the news, as we continue with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Are you considering calling a psychic to read your situation? Then consider David Champion, a psychic medium for more than 20 years with thousands of readings under his belt. David Champion will make you feel comfortable. He has proven to be honest and accurate. He's a straight shooter. There's no guesswork. What he sees is what you get. While he is a medium, most of the calls focus on relationships, not only love, but work, school, neighbors, and more. Need help with finding a job and preparing for the interview? Are you dealing with people who are obstacles in your path? For more information, go to davidchampion.com, $1.50 per minute paid by credit card with a minimum of 30 minutes. For your reading with David Champion, call 1-877-702-8598. That's 1-877-702-8598. Now you can dial in to listen to the X-Zone radio show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365. Now you can dial in to listen to the X-Zone radio show from anywhere in the world with Rob McConnell 24/7, 365 by dialing 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080. If you have a mobile phone or landline, the X-Zone radio show with Rob McConnell is now at your beck and call at 213-401-0080. That's 213-401-0080, 24/7, 365.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Exonation, my guest this hour is Tia Johnson. And Tia, first of all, thanks very much for joining us. Great having you here with us in the X-Zone. Tell us about your spa.
Yes, my spa, it's an online holistic spa. I do eventually plan on procuring a building, but for right now it's online, and it's aimed at coaching and promoting one's inner and outer spiritual growth. So the way I do that is I use the healing modalities I have learned. So it's a combination of angel therapy, Reiki, dream coaching, and crystal healing.
Wow, you cover the entire gambit. And
Yes.
And what is your favorite modality? Is it angels? Is it Reiki? Is it guidance? Is it the what is your favorite? What is your specialty?
I have to say, hands down, angel therapy. I love working with angels.
You know, I'm an angel believer. I believe in angels. So tell me about some of the experiences that you've had with angels.
Oh, sure. Well, the one event that really sticks out was the one I was talking about earlier, the tall, cloaked guy holding the rosary. I later found out that that was Archangel Raphael, and I found out because I read loads of Doreen Virtue books. I almost have every single one of her books, so that's how I figured out it was Archangel Raphael. Another angel experience I had was when I was meditating, and I was working with Archangel Raziel, helps with past lives and so forth, and I had a past life experience. And it just really opened up a lot of questions or answers that I had, and it was just amazing. So those are two examples, and a third one is Archangel Michael. And again, I was just meditating, and I opened my eyes because I felt such powerful energy, and my whole living room was just full of purple light. Everything had a purple hue around it, and then I saw the purple lights swirling around. It was beautiful.
Wow. What was your first angel encounter that you had?
Definitely the tall green cloak gentleman holding the rosary.
Why do you think people in today's society, high tech, high speed, filled with information from the moment we wake up to the moment we fall asleep, believe in angels?
I believe that that belief is innate. I just believe that a lot of people know that there's more than what we can see, taste, touch, hear, smell. I just really believe that. And when that happens, and in addition to someone having an experience, whether it's that near-death experience and they see lights, or they just have a feeling someone is watching over them, whatever the case may be, it's there. That, and also just throughout history where you have different civilizations drawing practically the same being when there wasn't a telephone available or internet. How can someone in Africa draw the same painting or drawing, whatever you want to call it, and as a person in Greece or whatever? How can you explain that? And I think that's why.
Good point. What is the goddess energy that you use to heal people?
I use the unified goddess energy, which is a golden, beautiful, shimmery color, and it's just really just tapping into that all-present goddess energy.
Can anyone learn how to use the goddess energy for healing?
Oh yes, and it's really it really has to do with a lot of practice, just as in anything else someone would do. So just constant, not just communicating with the goddesses, but communicating with your higher self, understanding what works for you, what doesn't work for you, how you can blossom. So if you're a person who has to be outside in order to be creative, go outside and be creative. Or if you're like me who works better at nighttime, most of the book was written during the night, do that. So it's really just really knowing who you are, in addition to constantly communicating with the goddesses, building that relationship.
How can the listeners around the world tonight learn to unlock and embrace the true them?
They can do that by taking a inventory of who they are. So, for example, I'll use myself. I am a person who loves spirituality, metaphysical, various subjects. So I'm going to read as much as I can. I highly encourage people to read and journal. So the path to do that, I would say, read as much as you can. And if you're not a reader, audiobooks, whatever you can get your hands on, so you can absorb that knowledge. And then journal. Journal what you dream, journal your experiences, even if it's something as small as you saw a sign. One time I saw a billboard sign that said clear connections, and the numbers were 444. That's all that signs. Write it down. So reading and writing.
How important are dreams to our daily life?
Oh, very. Dreams are very important because there's always a message, whether it's you're having a dream for comedic relief because you're stressed during the day, or it's actually a sign that can help you in your waking life. For example, one of the dreams I had, my grandfather warned me about an upcoming surgery that I was going to have. So that's just how important dreams are. They can provide us, they can give us a heads up of what's coming. That's what makes it so wonderful.
Really, eh? Can more than one person utilize this goddess energy? Is the energy stronger if there's more than one person trying to use it?
Well, the energy is always strong. If more than one person use it within a certain area, then that area becomes stronger. So it's similar to the power of prayer. If 3 people start praying in one area, another person will feel it, which is why when people walk into certain chapels in a hospital, they just automatically feel that presence, that power of in that area will blossom.
In your work, I know that you work with crystals. Are there different crystals for different reasons?
Yes. For example, a person can use an amethyst crystal, which is a purple crystal, to help increase their intuition. A person can use a sapphire to increase their wisdom, or a clear quartz, which is a clear, all-encompassing. If you hold up to the light, you can
Mm-hmm.
see a rainbow, to help amplify your health, amplify your logic, whatever the case may be. So yes, there are different crystals for different reasons.
And I also understand that as there are different crystals for different reasons, there are different flowers for different reasons.
Yes, absolutely. Mhm.
And what would they be?
Yes, one flower I really love to use is the red rose. Well, another one is not actually a flower, but the bamboo plant. I have that throughout the house. Red rose attracts love and a positive environment. Bamboo is good for luck.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to get my hand on baby breath because that's an all-encompassing flower. So I really would like that one. It helps.
Really?
Oh yeah, it helps a lot. It makes it simpler when you're around people who may be allergic to flowers, so that we're not having a bunch of flowers in any given place. You can have
Now we're talking
a
about baby
breath.
breath, the little white flowers
Yes.
that usually adorn other flowers when you get them from a florist. Well, maybe it's funny because
Exactly.
whenever I get my wife roses, and I try to get her roses at least once a week because she's a super lady, she's my world,
Mhm.
and roses make her
Mhm.
happy. I always have baby's breath put in them.
Mhm. Yeah, it's the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
It truly is. Yeah.
So, what other flowers are used in what you do besides the roses?
Besides the roses, I actually have dried the leaf flowers, like the yarrow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's another one that I can't think of at the moment. I have little packages of it, and I use the yarrow to help me with my dreams. So that's one of my favorite flowers that are dried and in a little packet that I can use for dreams.
Fascinating, truly fascinating. We hear a lot about spells when we talk about Wicca or witchcraft. We also hear about candles and the different candles that are used for different reasons.
Mhm.
First of all, what's the difference between black magic and magic?
I love that question. I have read up on several perspectives
Mm-hmm.
of people who ask that very question. Depending on who you ask, some people would say black magic is just you tapping into the shadow side, which can mean aspects of your life that you may have repressed or just completely ignored, or something that you have yet
Mm-hmm.
to uncover. And then some people would say black magic is bad magic, magic to hurt or harm people. So it really depends who you ask. I like to think of black magic because I focus on the good aspect as to look into the shadow side of who you are.
And what are the significance of candles?
Candles help you to center yourself. And depending on the color, you can relate that to a certain element. So, for example, if you want to, since summer solstice is coming up,
Mm-hmm.
work with the element of fire, you may want to get an orange or red color candle. Light the candle, and then you can focus on the flame to help you. Again, and when I say center, I just mean just to focus on exactly what you're doing right now. You're not worrying about the bills or the groceries or walking the dog.
Right.
You're just focusing on that candle flame, and then through that process, you're focusing on you. How would you like to achieve your next goal? What is your next goal? And so forth.
So it helps you take a better look at yourself.
Yes.
Gotcha. You also do Reiki, I understand.
Mhm.
What is the history of Reiki, and how does it really work?
The history of Reiki, it starts in Japan. It started in Japan, and Dr. Yusui, he actually wanted to learn more healing modalities.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually went on a journey, and through meditation over and over again, he actually received the symbols, the Reiki symbols, And through that, he took the symbols back down to civilization because he went on his journey. He was away, and he started to put those symbols into practice. And through the use of those symbols, he tapped into the universal energy, and that's what Reiki stands for, universal energy. And then through that process of him teaching the people in a particular area, they taught other people, and then they taught other people, and eventually it came over to the U.S., if I remember correctly, in the 60s. And it started in Hawaii, and then it made its way over to the mainland. And I used Reiki by really just tapping into that universal energy in addition to a person's chakra, which is their energy centers of the body. And that's how I help them to overcome issues and so forth.
So I would imagine that when someone goes to your spa, that there are a number of different venues that they can actually use in order to enhance themselves spiritually, as well as to help solve problems that they may be faced with.
Yes.
And how long does it usually take before a person can see results?
Depending on the situation, I can help them address the issue right then and there and get the result the same day.
That fast?
For example, but it depends on the situation. For example, when I talk to one lady comes to mind in particular, where she wanted to understand why she couldn't move on in her relationship with her then estranged husband. And so I took her through a couple of steps. We worked our way through it, and what she found out is that she was still emotionally detached on a deeper level that she thought she had originally resolved. There was something else there. And we worked through that, and that was fine the same day. But sometimes it does take a couple of steps depending on how willing the person is to heal.
All right, Tia, please stand by, honey. You and I have to take our final break. Exo Nation, Tia Johnson's our special guest. Her website is violetsanctuaryspa.com, and she's the author of To Be Goddess, Every Woman is a Goddess, Discover Your Domain in Which You Reign Supreme. My name is Rob McConnell. This is The X Zone. We'll be back after this break. Don't go away. With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.matstein.com. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, They conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Exonation. Tia Johnson is my special guest of this hour. Her website is violetsanctuaryspa.com, and she's the author of To Be Goddess, Every Woman is a Goddess, Discover Your Domain in Which You Reign Supreme. And first of all, Tia, great having you with us. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us here and for sharing your experiences as well as your expertise. But I have to ask you something. Where did you get the title for your book? It's kind of long.
Yes, it is. Well, To Be Goddess came to me via meditation. I wanted to know how I can further help women in particular, and I heard To Be Goddess. And Every Woman is a Goddess is really just helping women to remember that they are awesome. They can have that confidence. You are a goddess, no matter what you can be, or that you are. And the domain in which you reign supreme really hones in on addressing the issue that, okay, I'm a cook, you're a cook. We can both be great cooks. We don't have to compete against each other. We can do this together.
I like that. There's too much competition in the world today. And I think that people do not share well. You know, they're worse than kids. Kids sometimes don't know how to share, and I see this so often in today's society and adults. They don't want to share the stage. They don't want to share the work. And I love this that you said that we need to share. What's your final message for the X-Zone Nation around the world tonight? What is the message you would like to leave our listeners with?
Oh, yes. My final message is to, whatever it is you want to do in your life, make sure you give it your all. And when you think your all isn't good enough, you just plateau. Recruit people out, go out there and get a council together. Get people to help you.
Now, where can listeners go to buy a copy of To Be Goddess, Every Woman is a Goddess, Discover Your Domain in Which You Reign Supreme?
Sure, they can go to my website, violetsanctuaryspa.com/books.
And it's that simple.
That's simple, yes.
Tia, thank you very much for joining us. Great having you here with us tonight. I wish you much success, and I'd love to have you back on in the future.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. I had a wonderful time.
Once again, thank you very much, Tia. Exonation, Tia Johnson has been my guest this hour. www.violetsanctuaryspa.com. That's violetsanctuaryspa.com. Tia is in Philadelphia, PA. And once again, here's the title of the book. To Be Goddess, Every Woman is a Goddess. Discover Your Domain in Which You Reign Supreme. One more time. To Be Goddess, Every Woman is a Goddess. Discover Your Domain in Which You Reign Supreme. And as you heard Tia say a few minutes ago, it is available on her website. Once again, before I go, I'd just like to remind everyone that we're still trying to help Sylvia Anthony raise $300 so she can build another Sylvia's Haven, which helps ladies and their families who become homeless or have to leave their home because of domestic violence. Visit two websites to make a donation to our crowdfunding on Indiegogo. www.sylviasdream.org. And to find out about Sylvia's Haven in Revere, Massachusetts, www.sylviashaven.org. Sylvia Anthony is 84 years young, and so far in the past 27 years, she has helped over 1,087 families. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X-Zone continues from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Once again, Tia Johnson was my guest this hour. Her website, www.violetsanctuaryspa.com. I'll be back after the news. Don't go away.